JD here, and as you can see, we are back again with another video here today. And if you weren't living under a rock yesterday, EA/Codemasters actually confirmed the release date of F1 24. And I don't know if this was due to maybe some leaks the day prior, because there was quite a few of them, but all of a sudden we were given an announcement trailer, which in my opinion was very underwhelming because there was absolutely zero game footage or real information about the new upcoming game. The only small information we actually have, which was available on the website, was that there's going to be a revamped career mode, whatever that means. Nothing else aside from that. And I know the trailer is an announcement trailer, and I guess that's exactly what they did. But I really wish they would offer something more than just a release date, because all this was really just saying, here's a link to spend £90 and that's it. It didn't include any gameplay whatsoever, didn't showcase any new features, and that was it. It just felt like there was very, very little effort in order for you to be enticed to play the game, and really just relying on the hype of real F1 to actually just get your order in. And for me now, something we'll be discussing a little bit more in this video, I feel like F1 need to really start respecting their audience much more, and not really taking them for fools, because surely they must be aware, and EA Codemasters must be aware, that people are really starting to get frustrated with the experience. But no, as long as they keep getting the profits and that keeps rising every year, I feel like they're putting very little effort in order for their users to get the best experience possible. And speaking of disappointment, when I was actually reviewing the cost of the game, we better have high expectations, because not only has the price not dropped, this is actually the most expensive the game has ever been. And even in some currencies, the price has actually gone up quite considerably. And if we look at the Champions Edition for the UK, this is £89.99, so basically £90. And really all you get with this is just a few days early release, along with some other bonuses such as liveries, things like that. Is it really going to be worth it? I think only time will tell at this point. But I think a very big talking point that I would like to discuss in this video is the game engine. Because if we look back at the history of Codemasters and the F1 Games franchise, Codemasters have used the Ego engine since F1 2010. This was then updated to the Ego Engine 4.0 engine in 2015, and we have been using this ever since. So there's been no change in this game engine, and this was actually developed in-house by Codemasters. But with the WRC game owned by EA, they have actually been using the Unreal Engine, and whenever I've heard of the Unreal Engine, I've seen many of examples of it being used in other games, and the capabilities do look absolutely phenomenal. But some people actually pointed out very clearly in my last video, and correctly as well, is that WRC has actually been having quite a few issues with this Unreal Engine, mainly due to the frame rate dropping, a lot of stuttering, as you can see on the screen here now. So is it actually really an upgrade? Because many have said that it isn't actually that well optimized for racing games. It's actually better suited for many different kind of genres of games. So it might not actually be a bad thing that we don't get this new game engine. And the reason why I'm saying this is because when you actually go to click the link for the pre-order, it still says it's available on old gen consoles. And the Unreal Engine can be run on older gen consoles, but only as an editor mode, not as content creation. So there is actually a little bit of a difference between the two. But does it mean we are not going to get a new game update or new game engine? Not necessarily, but I don't think it looks very hopeful that we are going to get a brand new game engine, which many people, including myself, were very much anticipating. So yes, it's a bit disappointing that over 9 years we still haven't received a new game engine since 2015, but they do have the ability to update it, to upgrade it. But the fact that this game is being released so early and with no game footage being showcased whatsoever, I don't have a huge amount of confidence right now that if it is updated, it's going to be quite substantial, or that it's even going to be the case for a new game engine. But please let me know what your thoughts are on this. The fact that it's still running on old gen consoles maybe suggests that they're not really increasing the game's capability or improving it that much whatsoever. And considering we are paying this price, the most expensive it's ever been, I think we have been well overdue a game that is really going to blow all the others out the water for quite some time now. But I think my biggest gripe that I've personally had with the F1 game over recent years, or really the past half a decade, I think is summarized absolutely perfectly in this Reddit post. The game has just felt the same for half a decade now. It literally just feels like really a game that is just having a patch update from game to game with just new liveries, new sounds, and honestly, useless features such as F1 Live, Breaking Point, that we really didn't need, really didn't ask for, and none of the key features such as the career mode, the multiplayer, use of maybe classic cars, bringing back DLC tracks, other things we can do, other game modes, they aren't being substantially refreshed or given the attention they deserve. So as this post summarizes, it feels like adding things but basically the same game year upon year without creating a new game from scratch. It's just really going to invite bugs and overall continue the clunky, messy experience that we have been suffering for quite a while now. And just really not trying to create the most amazing racing game experience possible is just a big disrespect to their audience. I think that announcement trailer yesterday, although it had a bit of a disclaimer in there saying 0 game footage, expecting people just to buy a new game, despite the disappointments we've had in the past 2 to 3 years, I think we are owed something a little bit more, something a little bit more substantial. But just firing a link and just an announcement date and expecting you to spend £90 on the game, again, I think is quite disrespectful to their audience. And this amount of money is a lot of money. It is not easy to do whatsoever. So even with F1's Drive to Survive, which doesn't really seem to be taken too well at the moment, I just feel with F1, EA and Codemasters, that really is just about sales. It's just about the profits and just about the revenue, with very, very little investment in satisfying their community with actual quality. For this very reason, I can see many people actually holding out until they receive some bigger news from the game, which is due to be coming in April. So please let me know what your thoughts are on F1 24 so far. Will you be actually buying it before the release? Or are you going to wait to see if the hype is actually worth it? And if you really don't want to buy the game, make sure you go to my latest Instagram post because I will be giving away 2 copies of the Champions Edition. Make sure you go and follow the steps there. Also make sure you hit that join button to receive all my updated setups and discounts of one-to-one coaching at www.coachnimbus.com. Hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts and I'll be catching you very, very soon. Peace.